Hi. So, my name is Sabrina, and this is my presentation for my graphic design project. I decided to go with the Art Nouveau movement for my piece because I really like the feminine aspect of it and all the floral elements. It's my natural vibe with my day-to-day artwork anyways. So, for this class, it seemed like the obvious decision for my art style that I should do that. My project, I decided the way I would take classic Art Nouveau and translate it into today is more in a novelty poster aspect, kind of like how you get the ads on Facebook occasionally for the like photoshopped canvas prints that make it look like you're in an oil painting and you're a king or something. So I use the Art Nouveau style to create a novelty poster that's going to be a Christmas present for my grandma. So I made it look like an ad for something to do with cats, who knows. Just cattery cat food, whatever you feel. It's general ad for cats with my grandma in it. And another inspiration other than the traditional Art Nouveau aspects that I put into this project was to take a little bit of inspiration from Cardi B, of all places. My mom's a big fan of her. I'm not much for it. But there's a scene in one of her music videos where she had two tigers on either side of her as she sat in this throne. But essentially, awesome looking woman, throne, two tigers. So that just general theme or description of scenery was kind of how I laid out my composition for this piece. Because my mom and I are kind of tandeming up on the idea for this project for the Christmas part of it. Going through what I think Art Nouveau as a whole, as time has went on, has done to our society, and I really kind of caught wind of it while doing this, is I think there's almost a little bit of a resurgence of it, like a remnants of it with the cottagecore movement and a lot of the very vibrant yet simple and descript art styles that I see on Instagram these days. Since we don't really know what art movements are currently happening, we have like a post-nouveau movement from what I've witnessed on social media. I also feel like the Art Nouveau movement has heavily influenced the way that women are represented in our media through graphic design, because there's a little bit more of the risque, just being flat out sexy female thing, but I do see a lot of the attempting to persuade innocence in the female form or this wholesomeness, and I feel like we're getting back there a little bit more and more, as half of our stuff is either this very vibrant, poppy, like Art Nouveau psychedelic mix in our media today, or it goes straight minimalist. So it's made a big difference in the way that I feel that women are represented, and I feel like it is making a resurgence with its more cluttered floral looks just because of aesthetic culture. In my piece, one of the things, I know we were supposed to pick one principle. Okay. So I know we were only supposed to pick one principle, but I kind of started with one, and then I realized while progressing in the piece that there were a couple other key design principles that were really important to the Art Nouveau movement and my piece as a whole. The first one that I started out with that I wrote in my draft post was thinking about balance. Art Nouveau always, with all of its floral elements and chaos and flows throughout it, always had balance. One side was never heavier than the other, and if there was a reason that, like, on this side of the piece you have the woman and like this branch of flowers, your text would be up in this corner dripping down with some sort of element too. So then it would have an evenly weighted piece. So I tried focusing really hard at that in hindsight, I probably should have thought a little bit more with my typography and letters on it, because as you can see, I didn't really think of what the background of the letters would be, and I had too much blank space, and I tried to take some of the white flourishes that I was seeing in some pieces and make them look like cattails coming through to try to fill up some of that negative space. The other thing that I found to be really important was emphasis. In every Art Nouveau piece that you find, there's a central point of emphasis. Usually it's the woman, and often you'll see like a circle of a floral element around them that will focus it to their torso or just their head or something of that sort. So I wanted to put a lot of the focus on my grandmother, so kind of the reason I put the two cats on the side and didn't make them quite tiger size. They're a little bit smaller, and I can't remember the name of it, but if you look at a lot of like 70s album covers when wicker furniture was like the rage, there's this specific kind of like peacock wicker chair that is like this huge round overarching like a wicker throne. So I kind of wanted to make my grandma's throne similar in that round shape, so it would really draw all the attention to her, and then adding the flourishes of catnip from around the chair really emphasized the fact that she should be the center of attention. And I feel like the balance kind of worked in tandem with that to really draw you into her as a whole. The other thing that is very important in Art Nouveau is pattern. Even if it isn't the like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 kind of pattern where it's very consistent, and there is that repetitiveness of a theme or a motif. So I chose catnip for my project. And there's catnip around the chair, of course, which is a little bit more chaotic, but if you look around the borders of said piece, I also did similar catnip flowers in a white gel pen so they would stand out more. I just wasn't liking the black micron on that dark of a green color. And that was my major emphasis of pattern in there, other than some of the coloration and sparks on the cats. My feedback was mostly people kind of being like, oh, really think about your medium, and I approached this project thinking I was only going to do watercolor, and it ended up being a mixed media project. So in review, I chose Art Nouveau as my favorite movement to continue with this piece because I like how it represents floral elements and women in it, and it just matched up with my style well, and also how it's influenced modern art by making a resurgence through the aesthetic appeal of today's social media culture and the way it's changed the way women are represented in the media. I also used the design principles of emphasis, and pattern and balance for this project. And feedback-wise, I attempted to stick to one medium and did not succeed very well at it. Thank you for giving this a watch. Bye!